guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Processing 101. My name is Chris, and today joining me we have,
Keelan.
and we're going to be watching some Antonio Gibson with you guys today. He is a running back out of the University of Memphis, and nothing really notable there, so we'll just go back to the database. Shout out to Mark Jarvis for putting this database together for us. These are all his grades and everything until the very end, where I'll go over mine after we watch the tape. So, he is a fourth-year senior. Listed at officially 6'3" That's actually a lot taller than I expected, but okay. 228 pounds, small hands, 8.5 inch. Well, yeah, basically 8.5 inch hands. 31.75 there. So, have you watched any Antonio Gibson yet?
No, I haven't.
Any thoughts on his measurables?
Um, Interesting. I would have expected him to be a lot smaller, personally, but they're good measurables.
Okay, so we're going to watch the Penn State one in a second, but we need a game to watch first. So, maybe Cincinnati or SMU.
Cincinnati.
I don't watch too much American other than App State, so I'm not really.
Right, yeah.
Or they're not even American, they're 35, but they're.
The Sun Belt, I think.
That's right, yes. Yeah. They're the same.
I watch a few Cincinnati games a year, but that's about it. Occasional. I can't remember.
So, one thing that's interesting about Gibson is obviously he worked out at receiver at the combine, so that should kind of give it away. But he also is playing some receiver snaps. So, I'm not going to grade him as a receiver because I do, from everything I've seen, he's going to be a running back at the next level. But he definitely does take a lot of reps out of the slot, and he did test at receiver. So we should get a really, really good feel for his pass catching ability and maybe not so much his pass protection. So that's something to keep in mind as we go through this. Okay, nice catch. Obviously have some make a missing space. So he almost kind of gives off a little bit of like Christian McCaffrey vibes. Obviously, C-Mac was a lot more developed as a runner. But in the sense that he's a running back who you're going to utilize in the slot. That was a nice release, to be fair. Okay, here we go. And yeah, there you go. There you get to see the speed and the burst.
Nice.
Probably could have found that hole a little bit quicker. But you do really get to see that nice chunk cut. And then you really get to see the burst in the speed. There's also a partial QIB qualifier for those of you guys who are line students following the channel. I forget exactly which one he missed in, but he was in the list of 7 guys who were partial or full. Kingmaker's another guy in that group that I really like. Darrington Evans is also a full QIB qualifier. I really like him too. That's just
Who, sorry?
Hmm?
I didn't hear who that was.
Darrington Evans?
Oh, that's the App State guy, right?
Yep.
Cool.
He does have some vision. You do get to see that as a returner. Going back to Gibson here. Seems to have a respectable feel for space, which is kind of interesting. He doesn't run with a lot of power. Nice. Clear vision. Get to see a little bit of balance there as well. Different type of balancing easy doing, but you get to see him stay on his feet. Yeah, not the best vision though. That was a good throw. And ball tracking. Okay, clear vision. He seems to do a much better job of finding blocks when he's given a lane. He's not really necessarily good at finding lanes or creating lanes and manipulating that space as a running back. But, like, yeah, he actually jumped out of that first hole. That was definitely a face mask. Yeah, throwing this thing potentially a lot. Seems like a good half of these players end up with the ball in his hands one way or another. Inside, there you go. That's better. Right, yep, good. Okay, obviously, again, tons of receiving ability, runs routes. Nice. Good speed as well on that particular look. Nice, ran with a little bit more power on that particular play. Able to break some tackles. Nice, much better vision. And again, a lot more power. Probably the best run I've seen from him so far. Was able to quickly find that hole up the middle. Breaks that tackle, breaks that second tackle, and then drives the third guy forward. So yeah, it's a lot better job of running with that power and staying on his feet. Much better vision there as well. Okay, obviously, again, plus receiver. It's not really that disputed.
Cool.
So, your thoughts on game one?
I'm a fan. He's a unique prospect, not someone I've seen this year, or nothing similar. Like you said earlier, he reminds me a bit of C-Mac in the way that he's explosive running the ball, but he's also an extremely elite pass catcher.
I feel like the biggest difference is that obviously C-Mac is so much further ahead as a runner. Like, there's a
Right.
reason he went 8th overall in the draft. He is an elite talent and a truly generational running back. There's only one of him for good reason.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
from a stylistic perspective, is what he likes to be able to put in the slots. It's not many more experienced at that than he is. But that they actually put him outside straight up. Also, is it just me? Are these uniform combos like really, really bad?
They would be a lot better if the numbers were white, in my opinion.
I'm talking about the clash between Penn State and Memphis.
Oh. Yeah, they're interesting. I'll give them that.
Like, they're both just like really, really dark colors. Most of the time, you have like the one team that wears like the white and the one team that wears like the dark color.
Right.
It's just really weird seeing like darker gray and like dark blue.
Yeah. Well, I stand by my point. Memphis's numbers should be white.
This split camera angle thing is weird to me.
Yeah.
But they got rid of that. That was unnecessary. Okay. Concept. Oh, I'd like to see him find his rush lanes a little bit more consistently. Okay. The Eagle block. What?
What the hell is this?
Ooh, he jumped. Yeah. Oh, that was not a good decision to take that out. He has some upside in pass pro. We've seen him make a couple of decent blocks so far. So that's kind of an interesting development. That was interesting. I'll be honest, I can't even follow which guy is him on the bottom screen.
Yeah, I would prefer it if they didn't do that. Thank you.
Like, it's cool for if you're like watching the QBs.
Yeah,
But
but I don't think anybody is watching the Memphis or Penn State QB.
casual fans probably. Who aren't really doing
That's
this
the
from an
cat.
eval standpoint, they're just watching the game. It
Well,
would be a lot better if it weren't like an actual tape thing, if they were just
well,
doing this like if you're watching the game like, oh yeah, it's kinda cool.
well, fuck the casual fans. No, I'm kidding.
I wonder how many casual fans are the people who actually check these out. Versus how many people are like actual analysts and evaluators who are like watching this for film review. I bet like a lot of you guys that are actually watching this are probably just like fans of your favorite team, and like maybe your team took Antonio Gibson, you're like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. Like I see how we can use him, or I like how Memphis did this or whatever with him.
Yeah.
And speaking of, that's exactly why I just said this, because this is a really, really weird look. The fourth guy, so he's basically playing tight end, or where your typical tight end would line up. I don't think I've seen that in the NFL. I mean, I don't watch every NFL game ever existed, but
Yeah. That one guy, I can't think of his name. The guy who went to the Steelers. It's like Jalen Samuels,
yep, from NC State.
right? That's the one. That's the only guy I can think of that did that.
So this is actually a really nice play. First, obviously, and break that first tackle. See him break that second tackle. I mean, another third tackle before he ends up going down. So you really get to see that receiving balance here, ability to stay on his feet after the catch. And I wonder if that translates as a runner, because we haven't really seen a whole lot of him running the football. at least relative to what you would see watching, say, Jonathan Taylor tape, which is kind of an interesting evaluation perspective in itself, and kind of why I'm not really seeing a whole lot. I'm still kind of trying to grasp exactly what they're trying to get. Oh, I hate this camera angle too. That doesn't help. But yeah, I'm still trying to see now they have a running back, but they're running a QB keeper, so it's kind of hard to get a complete grasp and a feel, and that's probably why it's projected so late too. I've seen him projected in like the 5th, 6th round range, just because he's kind of like one of those guys who's used so weird. Like if you just used him as a slot receiver, like you'd be evaluating him as a slot receiver. But Memphis is doing so many different things with him, putting him in the backfield. There was one if they had him at like tight end. I'm sure if you tried to, you could probably play him at fullback or something. Like he's just one of those kind of weird all-purpose guys.
Yeah.
Which is why I never understand the talk about putting like QBs at like non-quarterback positions. Like when people were talking about putting Lamar at like wide receiver or running back or tight end. Like I get that he runs the ball, but they're completely different skill sets that utilize completely different traits and techniques. Like if you're a running back, your vision is completely different. You're making different reads pre-snap. You have to go through different adjustments and understand like different blocking styles, I guess. And like if you're a receiver, obviously you can't play receiver if you're not going to catch the football consistently. Like if I'm drafting you to play receiver on my team, I want to see you catch the football more than twice on tape. So it's like even if you're a return guy, like that's still more receiving experience than what I remember Lamar having at Louisville. I think he got targeted like twice as a receiver or pass catcher, and both of those were more trick plays. So I never really understood that. Like Denard Robinson, okay. I guess I can understand that because he basically did line up at running back on some snaps, so you did actually get to see a little bit more of a running skill set with him. But it's just not exactly the same thing. Like if you want to say they're a bad quarterback and you don't believe in the fact that they can play quarterback, then just straight up say that. Don't say just switching their positions.
I guess the same goes with the Denard Robinson argument, with I think Malcolm Perry, the Navy guy. I mean, he ran option the entire time.
Who did?
Malcolm Perry, the Navy quarterback.
Oh.
And I think he tested as running back.
I mean, okay, so I guess it's a little bit different for like your naval, like your academies, like your military academies, because they literally just, for the most part, run like 90 to 95% option. So they're not exactly like a Navy quarterback does not exactly translate to a pro quarterback either. You know?
Right.
So that almost kind of works in the opposite way, where like it's kind of hard to translate them to quarterback too, because you don't really get to see them drop back and see the footwork and you see the like progressions and the reads and things like that consistently. Like you'll see some plays where they have obviously progressions and reads, but it's not the same as saying like here's a smash concept on your right and here's a divide concept on your left. Like read the smash and then the divide. Like it doesn't really translate. Part of that I do think will come with time though. I mean, it's still a relatively new concept and era.
Yeah.
We're still finding unique ways to put these most skilled athletic players on the field. Speaking of skilled and athletic, back to Gibson tape, and I actually like the way he runs the screen. Nice hands catch. And you really, again, get to see the vision and the ability to create after the catch, find open space as a receiver. Tries to sell that cut to get him out of position. So he definitely does have a lot of ability to create and maximize that space outside.
The
Interesting.
next Mahomes. It was the thumbnail of one of your recommended videos.
Oh, that's Joe Burrow. That's for Brett Coleman. Brett Coleman's awesome, by the way. For those of you guys who haven't checked him out.
Love that man.
So, do you want to watch the third game?
I think I've seen everything I need to, but if you want to, I'm not opposed.
I'm the opposite. I don't think I'm going to see everything I want to, even if I want to watch the third game. So, because he's, like we've been talking about that whole spiel, he's kind of like one of those guys where because watching a third game really going to showcase off too much different than what we've already seen. So, okay, let me put my cap back on my handy dandy pen here. And we'll get into what we already have. So, biggest strength for me, I have obviously is pass catching. Biggest weakness, I'm just going to go straight up say experience. Kings watch, we watched Cincinnati and State. Okay, so vision. I'm gonna go with the 7. Definitely needs to work in the consistency factor there. Someplace that I think will again just come with that experience and the being in the backfield, and developing that consistency in those reads and finding that space. Speed did not seem like an issue. That's a pretty easy 9. Same with burst acceleration, pretty easy 9 there. He actually ran with a little bit more power than I was expecting, so I'm gonna go with a 7 there. Again, toward the bottom of the class, but definitely a little bit more than I was kind of thinking I was going to see coming in. Moveset, we didn't really get to see a whole lot of moves, but I'm pretty sure he has some. Obviously, he's a return guy. He has the ability to maximize that space after the catch, even if he doesn't really utilize moves to do so. So I'm going to go with an 8 for now. I feel pretty comfortable with that. Balance was really nice. Got to see a few good examples of that and his ability to stay on his feet and create after the contact. So I'm going to go with an 8 there. Balance versus aggressiveness, he's not really all that patient. I think again that will come with experience. So I'm gonna go with a 7, which is the lowest I've given out so far. But I'm pretty sure that will hopefully just come with time and development. And again, getting him in the backfield will be a big factor in that development. Receiving ability is an easy 10. Pass protection, he actually impressed me quite a bit. I have, I think, 3 pluses, 4 pluses for pass pro. So I'm gonna go with a 9 there, or an 8 there. And in ball security, didn't really get to see any issues or anything with that. Do you have his fumble numbers?
His fumble, just 1 second.
We may as well do that on screen.
Sure. In his 2 years, 1 year of rushing, he has 0 fumbles.
Okay, I'll go with a 9.
He has 33 career rushes in his
Here's what?
college. 33 rushes in his college career. Like
Interesting.
38. Sorry, 44 receptions. So definitely fresh.
I'm not even really necessarily too worried about like freshness, especially given the fact that he's been a receiver. Like that's not really. I don't think. I guess part of it for me is that I'm not really a huge believer in that. Like running backs are going to wear down regardless of how often you use them. Like if a guy gets hit the wrong way one time, his knee's done.
Right.
So I guess I don't really factor that in. Whereas a guy can like Frank Gore, like he's been going for what 15 years.
Yeah.
It
That.
seems like, and that's actually probably accurate. Like I say, 15 is a joke, but it's probably right 15 years. I think he got drafted around the same time Sean Taylor did. And like Ray Lewis, I think he was in like that Miami. I think he played on the same teams as those guys at U Miami. So, uh, yeah, I guess for me it's more about like the running style and the way guys play, their ability to avoid hits, which is again why I factor moveset, part of it at least. Balance, same thing, ability to not fall over easily and take those and well fall over easily, and their ability to take those hits and stay on their feet. So I guess I kind of factor stuff in like that. Like
You were spot on. He was drafted in the 2005 NFL draft, which is 15 years ago.
yeah, that sounds about right. Well, I was
He's
off on a
so
timeline.
old
Lewis is
that
a little
his
bit earlier.
sorry,
Taylor was a little bit later.
he's so old that his middle name is Delano.
Oh wow. Okay, so
And
here are
his
my
first
grades.
name
Well,
is
what?
Franklin. Wait, what the hell? So we have Franklin Delano Gore. That's someone who was a big fan of FDR.
Okay, so while I go calculate my grades, I'll let you give your thoughts on him as a player.
Oh, okay.
T
I was sort of
Gibson,
distracted.
not
Watch,
Gore.
yeah. Um, he reminds me a bit. After we talked to him, he reminds me a bit of Jalen Samuels, like we were talking about earlier. I think he's a good late round guy. I would love it if the Lions picked him up in, say, the 5th round, the 4th round. I think, for me, I would prefer Akers and a guy we just watched him, A.J. Dillon. But Gibson would be really cool as well.
Yeah, he ends up a little bit behind J.K. Dobbins for me, which doesn't seem too much. But I had like your Benjamins, your smaller school guys. I did like Robinson. He was actually kind of interesting, but uh, yeah, I take Darrington Evans over him at this point. I really like Darrington Evans too. For those of you guys, I didn't do a video on this, but for those of you guys who didn't watch Darrington Evans, see if we can find some of his games. I watched Louisiana Lafayette, South Carolina, North Carolina on YouTube the other day. That was a really, really fun watch. I really enjoyed that. He's a full QIB qualifier for those of you guys who are the Lions fans here. One of 3 this year. It was Evans, Taylor, and Dillon that were the 3 full QIB qualifiers in this class. So if you're a Lions fan especially, definitely go check him out. I'm sure he's high on Bob Quinn's board. Uh, and, and yeah, he's behind him. Edwards-Helaire. I really like Cam Akers. That was a fun video I did a long time ago. And of course, your Taylor and Swift. And Dillon. Dillon was great. So you have your grade point
Yeah.
list yet?
No, to be honest with you, I was a bit distracted. I was reading um our friend Daniel's paper that he just sent in here.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
I'm curious where you have him and how much you differ from mine, because I feel like the third round, well, it actually translates to third on your money scale. I slightly adjusted my scale this year based on the grade usage that I was utilizing. So he ended up getting a third round grade. Obviously, running backs drop. So like if I have a first round grade on running back now, it basically translates to a second because I don't take a running back in the first round. And then your second rounders like your Akers, Clydes, Evans, and Moss, I would take in the third. And then Gibson, JK, and Eno, I would take in the fourth.
Oh dear.
Also, if I called him Pollard at all over the course of this video, I've done that in the past. I did that yesterday. I was telling you about him. That's my fault. Maybe I should put the disclaimer in there just in case I did. Because Tony Pollard was from Memphis last year.
And they've been pumping out running backs. Pollard last year, Henderson the year before.
Oh, yeah, Darrell Henderson, right?
Yeah, I think he's a starting running back for the Rams now, the girls, huh?
Yep. And Pollard was definitely carved himself a rollout in Dallas, even though they just paid Zeke. I have him on my fantasy team, actually.
Nice.
It was the one game he played. He actually had like really, really good numbers for my fantasy team. I was so glad I picked him up. It's a dynasty league, which is one of the reasons why. By the way, while I'm waiting for Keelan to calculate his stuff, for those of you guys who are interested in line stuff, I'm going to be continuing the QIB series I started with AJ Dillon. So when Eric publishes his next article or two, I'll be covering those guys either again for a second time or rewatching them for the first time on camera, or I'll be doing a first time watch through depending on how much shape they have and how much I've watched of them so far. So if there's someone who I hadn't watched yet who's a full QIB, I'll obviously add them to my list and we'll do a first watch through together. Well, like for guys like Jonathan Taylor and Evans. Taylor I'd already done a video on, so I'm kind of like, I'm not going to do a video on all of them. I do want you guys to obviously read those articles and watch some tape on your own as well. So I'm not going to do a video on Evans, but yeah, it was very fun to watch.
Alright, I just finished mine. I gave him an 83 grade.
Oh, okay, so
I'm not
basically
sure
1 point higher than me. Nice.
Nice.
Cool. So with that being said, do you have anything else you want to add to that?
Nope. Like I said earlier, I think he'd be a really fun option to look at day 3.
Nice.
For the Lions, and I think he has the potential to play a similar role as C-Mac in the NFL. I'm not sure to the same level as, like you said before, and I agree with you. C-Mac is a once-in-a-generation running back. But I think he could be similar to that.
Nice. Well, hopefully you guys learned a thing or two in this particular video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this over the course of the next coming days and weeks as we head into the draft. About 20 days away from the time we're recording this. Actually, less than that because it's the 4th. So we're 20 days away from day 2 of the draft. But definitely hitting the grind, have a lot more guys to watch, a lot less time to do it, but still definitely enjoying watching these players with you guys, with myself, with Keelan and Braden and everyone else on my end. So for now, hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Stay safe during all this stuff that's going on around you in the world. And for now, peace out.